What is up, everybody? This is All Things Entertaining here, bringing you with a brand new video. Today we have some OCG top decks from this past weekend. Not really the past weekend, because the weekend is still currently going on, but throughout the week, I guess, from the OCG. And we have a pretty spicy one. This is Gishki Spright, a deck that is actually theoretically kind of good right now in the OCG. I like this deck a lot. So we're going to go over the card by card and try to explain why this deck was pretty good, because this is a pretty interesting deck, especially with the combination of what it's worth, and it's also Gishki, so there's also that. So let's just jump right into it. We have 3 Gishki Shadow, so this card is pretty simple. You can use it for the entire ritual summon of a water ritual monster. They all say this, by the way, but you could discard this card to add the ritual spell from your deck to your hand, which is pretty nice. You have 3 Ash Blossom, generic hand trap, pretty nice. 1 Sprite Jet, 1 Sprite Red, 3 Sprite Blue, and 1 Sprite Carrot, just to get some nice synergy with the engine going on. You can go into level 2s, and this deck also is playing a hefty amount of level 2s in the actual engine of the deck itself. So, it's a pretty good roundabout list right there. 3 Gishki Abyss. This card is summoned. You can add a Gishki monster with 1,000 defense or less to your hand, except this card. Guess what? The cards that are all the Gishki cards, I think even maybe, no, not this card, you can't add this card, unfortunately. But this card can search pretty much, can search Vision, Renew card, and Shadow, which is really nice. We have 2 Vision. Speaking of that, this card can add the ritual monsters from your deck to your hand. You only play 2 because you probably don't want the ritual monsters all that much. 3 Grim. This card is actually really insane. Again, you can use this the entire thing. If this card is normal or special summon, you can special summon 1 Gishki monster from your deck, except Grim. So that's pretty cool. If they don't deal with Totally Awesome, this could be a new way of getting water cards out, because you just straight up summon this card from anywhere, and you just get the another Gishki monster. To be fair, you can't attack with it, but if you're going first, you don't really care about attacking with it, so it doesn't really matter. For the most part, I think this is a pretty nice, pretty cool card. It's really nice. 3 Maxi, because this card is still insane in the OCG, and 2 Evagishki, Neri Menace. That's how I'm gonna pronounce it. Neri Menace. This card is pretty cool. You can use ritual. You can ritual summon this card using any ritual spell, and if you do, you can target a water monster in the graveyard, special summon it. Cannot be destroyed by battle with monsters from the extra deck, and once per turn, not hard once per turn, by the way. This is not a hard once per turn. When your opponent activates a monster effect, you can bounce this card to your hand, bounce a ritual monster to your hand, and then they get the activation of that effect and then shuffle it back in the deck. So it's pretty much it's really good. It's extremely good. We have 1 Triple Tactics for the spells. We have 3 Focalization. This card is really good. This card just straight up as a Gishki monster, and during the end phase, you can banish it from the graveyard. If you control a water monster, you can send an Aquamirror spell trap from your deck to the graveyard. But it's pretty cool. You use this to get the trap, which gets you this guy, because this card just summons a Gishki from the hand. You're going to have the other Neri Menace. You're going to activate Aquamirror Illusion to special summon Gishki, ritual monster from your hand, so you have 2 negates, because remember, this is not a hard one's burn. And we have 2 Prosperities, because this card is 2 in the OCG, and we have 2 Gishki Iceman. This is a new card. It ritual summons any Gishki monster, and if you do, you lose life points for the monster that you summon for its original attack. But if you have it in the graveyard, you can target a Gishki monster in the graveyard and place it on the top, and then place this in the bottom, so it recurs itself. So that's pretty cool. And you have 1 Aquamirror, which just returns a Gishki monster, a ritual monster from your graveyard to the hand. Then they do shuffle this into the deck. We have 1 starter for the Sprite combo, 2 Call by the Grave, and 1 Crossout Designator, as well as 3 Infinite Impermanence and the Aquamirror Illusion from earlier. On to the extra deck, we have 1 Zeus, 1 Gustav Max, 1 Soul Sweeper, 2 Gigantic Sprite, 1 Herald of Pure Light. This card is pretty neat. You can detach a succeeding material from this card and then target a monster in your graveyard, add it to your hand, and then shuffle 1 card from your hand into the deck. This card is good for recurring some of the stuff that you use for the ritual summons, as well as getting some of your Sprite combos back. Underworld Goddess is pretty cool. We also have Avermax, 1 Axis Skotalker, 1 Trisbania. Pretty cool card. It destroys as many field traps as possible, and then burns your opponent for them. 1 Unicorn, 1 Phoenix, and 2 Elf, as well as 1 IP Masquerena. We have some pretty cool cards in the side deck here. We have 1 Zilgigas, which is just mostly used to draw cards and then possibly shuffle the card back in the deck if you drew a Gishki monster. We have Lightning Storm, Harvest Feather Duster, one Triple Tactics talent to round up the second one in the deck, and we have a Triple Tactics Task Scheme, a new card that lets you set things directly from your deck to the field or add them to your hand, but you can't really activate them in the turn. And Book of Eclipse, which is starting to pop off in the TCG actually, because it is a way to stop cards and stop your opponent in combo en masse, so it's pretty cool. We have 3 evenly matched for a board breaker of sorts. It's a really good board breaker. I think this is probably the second or maybe even third best board breaker in the entire metagame at the moment, so this card's pretty cool. Thunder of Ruler, which is extremely funny. It just straight up says there's no battle phase this turn during your opponent's standby phase, so it could prevent you from dying. So maybe the player who ran this deck thought of a way that he could potentially lose out in the die roll, or not the die roll, in the battle phase, and maybe not set up enough. But yeah, this card's pretty fun. And one red reboot. This card's currently banned on the TCG for good reason, but they are playing one because this card is really good against trap-based decks. So for the most part, I think this deck is really, really strong, really, really solid overall, and I want to see if this will actually translate very well into the TCG. But of course, we don't actually have access to the Gishki stuff yet, unfortunately. But at the moment, but I mean, we can always hope and see what goes on there. So if you guys did enjoy this video, please leave a comment in the comment section below. Tell me what you guys think about this deck list. I think it's really cool. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you guys later. This has been All Things Entertaining, signing out.